Thank you. Take a breath. Don't examine it, just breathe. Just breathe. You ready? Despite what you may have learned in your breathwork class, in your yoga class, or even from me, there isn't really a correct way to breathe. It's a natural action of the body association that responds to the will to survive, I suppose, at a very minimal. It is the smallest action of mind that is controlled autonomously by the avatar mind association in the subconscious compartment level of the human experience. Everything is mind. When I say to you, take a breath, remember to breathe, and things like this, what I'm doing is reminding you to be grounded. What I'm doing is reminding you to be focused on staying in your body, not going astral with a lot of spiritual concepts and isn't this wonderful? We're all spirit, we're all love, we're all of that. Yeah, that's fine. But breathe. Let's just keep this energy grounded. Let's keep it where we need it, in the body, staying present, staying conscious and consciously aware of our purpose, which is healing, for the goal, which is inner peace of mind. Breathe. And you let go of the world. Let go of the world, let go of all ideas and thoughts about it, about yourself in relationship to it, or other people in relationship to you. Let it all go. Just come back to being present, being here, being now. Find yourself back in the body, focused. Now, the habituation is to escape the body. The habituation is to avoid continued and prolonged experience of body association at a core level. Because at that core level, the body is the symbol of the ego, and the resulting reactive nature of mind, what would you call it, verifying, associating with ego, is seen as something that arouses a lot of anxiety. But also the release of ego arouses a lot of anxiety. But it's only from within the framework of acceptance, total acceptance of the fact that, yes, in this world, I have a body. I have the use of a body. I'm not the body, but I have the use of a body for the experience of my human learning journey. Those who are resisting the learning journey, those who find themselves constantly beset by the world and have all sorts of problems with authority or problems with managing themselves and their relationships, it's primarily and simply and singularly because there is a avoidance, conscious avoidance, an avoidance of accepting things exactly as they are. And one of those things, the prime thing, is the body. Let me accept my body as it is. Big, tall, short, skinny, fat, bumps, lumps, whatever it is, whatever it is. It is the perfect vessel, the perfect utility for you, given the nature of the learning journey you've chosen in the journey of your soul, according to the way that your learning experience is going to be unfolding for you here. If you have anxiety about accepting your body as it is, exactly as it is, notice I said not accepting yourself, but accepting your body as it is, that can only be resolved by accepting it as it is. And that process of acceptance is one where finally you're fed up, you're sick and tired of trying to avoid accepting yourself. Perhaps you're living in hope that you will lose weight or suddenly somehow grow taller or have less pimples or not have that disease or hereditary or otherwise, The path of healing is a path of total acceptance. Once you accept something that you can see you are resisting, then this too passes and you move on to the next thing. But the process of acceptance often necessitates the requirement of forgiveness. I'm going to forgive myself for my resistance to accepting this because I'm coming to learn that all things are perfect and that everything is the part of the divine overall plan, one world under heaven, if you like, and that my part to play in it is just as important as everybody else's as far as learning the lessons that my soul needs in this part of my journey, as an idea of remembering what I am and where I am forever and always. Once you accept something about yourself, it no longer bothers you. It's that simple. But it's very easy to kid yourself. Oh, yeah, I accepted that about myself long ago. And to use that idea or that spiritual sort of concept to avoid looking at the fact that you actually haven't accepted it. The ego is very cunning. Once you have actually accepted something, however, and you can move on from that, it will arouse a certain amount of anxiety in the process of moving on, because that back and forth cause and effect relationship with the resistance to acceptance that you've just accomplished as an idea of healing from it has been your bedfellow or your companion for such a long time that there is going to be this moment where you step into a new and empty space, relieved of that cause and effect, anxious sort of playing out, and you won't know what to do. Right? Now, Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, every time there is a shift in consciousness, you will experience disorientation and confusion. And it's much like that. Right? What do I do now? What do I do now? I've had this shift in consciousness. Everything's fine. I've accepted my body. I've accepted the vessel as my learning instrument. It's perfect for that purpose, etc., etc. I'm moving on. Right? But what do I do now? Very simply, you take a breath. You take a breath and you just be still for a moment and you wait. There's no need to know what to do now. You'll just find yourself doing it in the moment of the occurrence of whatever that's going to look like. Take a breath. Because as soon as you fall back into what do I do now, you're falling into judgment. You're falling into arbitration, decision making, and all of these sorts of things, which is not sitting back as the observer, let's say, but it's interacting with thoughts, looking for potential outcomes again, which is what the idea of separation is, rather than accepting that everything's perfect, and when you find yourself doing whatever the next thing is, that'll be what you're meant to be doing. It's only because there's an idea of free will that seems to be prevalent to the human condition. Well, I could do this or I could do that. It's like it doesn't matter what you do or don't do. Whatever you did or didn't do will be exactly what you find yourself doing, because all of this is actually a memory of something that's already over and occurred already. And you're simply reviewing something that's already gone by. It's like a theme park, a divine or a celestial theme park. But the nature of this theme park is rescue. You are being rescued from a tumble into time and space, from, let's say, an awareness of divine self, or from, if you want to look at it biblically, the fall from grace. You're being rescued from that fall. You didn't know what you were doing when you picked a side, when you ate the apple, if you're an Adam and Evist. I don't know if that's a term, but you didn't know what you're doing. You're an innocent child of God, but you're having this experience where all of a sudden everyone in eternity, let's say, is like, where did you go? Where did that person go? And they've tumbled down this kind of rabbit hole into time and space, and it's like Jesus looks down there and he goes, oh, there you are. How did you get in there? That's not even a sanctioned realm yet. It's still in the making, right? So the idea of salvation then is a recovery effort. You're being recovered from this realm where you've tried to get comfortable and you've tried to make it your home, and it seems like a reasonable place to live, but compared to what? Right? When you look at the nature of time and space, and how the beginnings and endings of things can be quite tragic, it's like, well, let's just get the heck out of here. If this world is not our home and we're going where Jesus went, let's just be about that. You're a divine being, a formless being, a being of spirit. This body is not what you are, and the continual confusion with it arouses anxiety. The release from that anxiety also arouses anxiety, but it's in a kind of a reversal of the process of what the anxiety is about. One is the anxiety of finding yourself here in the world without a purpose and without the understanding of the meaning of life, and the other one is being rescued, recognizing that there's a great anxiety that arises when you realize that you have to let go of this world and begin that process of transforming the mind to begin to learn Buddha-mindedness or Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness, whichever one, so that you can transcend or escape the physical realm in your next incarnation and become out the bardo, higher up the ladder, higher up Jacob's ladder, or on an elevated vibratory frequency association within the idea of my Father's house has many mansions, in a higher level mansion where you have a less dense form association, of body, still utilizable for the rescue process, but on a much higher level, on an ascended level, ascended masters and all of that sort of stuff. So, breathing. Stay in the body. Stay present. Stay where it is that you can learn to open your mind and tune in through that opening to, and the top of my head is getting very itchy now, tune into that opening to a higher to lower communication, which is a vibratory field of communication that you get a sense of, you feel it, you may even hear it audibly, internally, as a calling but most people experience it as a sense of something. And as you begin to tune in, it becomes stronger and stronger. And you find yourself ultimately in the practical application of the idea of here and now as a meditative state of listening, right up against the threshold of consciousness, which seems to present like a black veil. But it's very much like a woolen jumper. When you hold it out here and you look at it, it looks good and solid and everything like that. But when you bring it right up to your eyes and you hold the woolen weaving right there, you can see through the little weaves and you can see light on the other side. And it's very much like that. And as you learn, or as you train yourself to stay in that place on the threshold of consciousness, you will experience light. But at first you will find it very, very difficult to stay there. The ego is the master of distraction, and you will fall into observation of your thoughts about what you think you're doing. Am I getting this right? Am I being still? All of this stuff, until finally, oh gosh, the energy's very, very lucid today. Until finally you actually find yourself in a moment where you're not in conscious observation of yourself, you're just being. Breathe. Take a breath. Whenever you find yourself throughout the day concerned about something or trying to figure something out or dealing with a problem, step back, take a breath, get in your body. Allow yourself to let go of the problem, the situation, and everything else, and reconnect with Source, reconnect with God, with the universal mind, of which you are a whole and equal part. And you'll find that the solution or the reorchestration of the cause and effect nature of the relationship you're perplexed by will just automatically begin to work itself out. Breathe. Feel your body, feel how you feel about your body. There's a kind of a symbiotic relationship where the mind recognizes and accepts that the body is a divine vessel, a divine utility for a higher purpose that completely supports the journey, the spiritual undoing and relearning of true light communication. Like that. And I had somebody in my last video, I thought it was very lovely. I was talking about healing and going into the whole process, how that occurs in my mind. And you try to talk about it with words, but ultimately it's a mental application. The words can only take you so far. You have to begin to practice it and try to figure it out for yourself. You try to put it into place for yourself. And prior to the explanatory period of that video, I was having a moment of light communication with whoever was disseminating to me something from on high. And somebody wrote in there, I had the healing whilst you were having that moment of communication. And something about pressure in their eye or something like that, and they received the healing. And that's absolutely occurs. That absolutely happens. The old spiritual adage that if you hang around the master, you're bound to wake up. Well, if you hang around anybody who is singularly minded or practicing the principles of trying to stay singularly minded, stuff happens. Stuff just automatically happens. One of the references that I really like in the Course, it says, the holy instant is available to any two that come together for a single purpose. And it doesn't matter whether one or the other is more aware of that purpose in that situation. So in this situation, I'm presenting a video fully aware that the purpose of the video is to try and express and get across the nature of the concepts and the principles involved in an idea of faith and spiritual healing, and somebody else whose obvious association with watching the video is an idea of being interested in healing. I mean, their two minds come together for that single purpose, the giving and receiving, the teaching and the learning, the whole thing. And both of us come out more illumined, more enlightened, more adherent to our single purpose on the other side of the experience of watching the video or making the video. And I love how that works, and that works across the board in all kinds of relationships. I mean, in every relationship, no matter what it is, in time and space, whether financial, emotional, national, it's the same thing. But it requires that there is at least a willingness to entertain the idea that healing is our highest purpose on earth. And all healing is of the mind. And a peaceful mind is a healed mind. I have a hashtag that I developed. It's not much of a development, I must admit. But I've got the hashtag inner peace is mental health. Hashtag inner peace is mental health, all one word. Right? All therapy is healing. All forms of therapy is healing. Spiritual therapy, physical therapy, it's all an idea of healing, and it's the adoption of that premise that I'm on a healing journey. And you could even put that as I'm on a learning journey and a teaching learning journey, which is where the idea of healing comes in. It's the adoption of that as a premise in life that allows you to realize the nature of your purposeful presence in any given situation or place or time, etc., etc., etc. Breathe. We join in a single moment. We join in a holy instant. We're here to join in a holy instant of remembering, an experiential activity of mind that is found and felt and experienced only in that little gap that we leave when we choose to decide what or when we choose not to decide what it is we're going to do next. I don't know what I'm about. I don't know the meaning of life. I'm just going to breathe. I'm not going to write anything in this empty space for a second. I'm just going to practice leaving the space open and not trying to control the narrative of my human experience. I'm just going to sit here and be. It's good. Try to feel it. Try to tune in when you breathe. It's like you are part of the universe, whether you like it or not. Even in a physical sense, you're experiencing the entirety of the form association that you find yourself within. And you're at least being open-minded to being presented ideas that are attempting to get you to understand that the form association is symbolic of your own state of mind, and that what you see out there is reflecting a state of mind that needs healing within you, unless what you're seeing is only a blessing, only peace, only the teaching and learning of, let's say, my brothers who are on this journey with me, whether it's your next door neighbor, or whether it's Donald Trump, or whether it's the guys up in the space station. Everything is teaching and learning. Everything is purposeful if you can see it from that perspective. If you're trying to see it from two perspectives, you will achieve neither goal. You won't fix the rights and the wrongs of the world, and you won't find inner peace. Because you can't sit on the fence. You have to make a decision. I'm going to serve at the altar of peace, or I'm going to serve the world and try to fix all the problems of the world and help other people fix the problems of the world, etc. fundamentally, nobody needs to know that I'm here at all in the world. I could completely, and I have completely, completed my atonement assignment simply by being here. The teaching and learning value of these videos as a reflection of that, or as an offering of what that actually is nothing more than a doorway through which you can come to know that of your own experience, know that about your own true self, as joining me in a moment of communication that will reveal, like that, the divine nature that we share, that we are, not as a we, but as an I am. In a very real sense, I've gone from being a participant in time and space as a human being to the majority of my, I hope the majority of my human faculties, to becoming more like a billboard on a roadside saying, think up, look up, breathe up, feel up, everything up. We talk about it as higher to lower communication, lower through prayer, lower to higher communication, higher to lower. And it's this kind of giving and receiving. And it isn't really, we talk about it in a vertical sense compared to the time-space alpha and omega experience of being in a linear sort of horizontal sense here, because there isn't really any other way to talk about it. You have to experience it for yourself. But true communication isn't really lower to higher. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere all at once. It's going on all around you all the time. As one of my teachers, Greta, would have said to me, a tree knows that it's a tree, a dog knows that it's a dog. It's only the human being that wonders what it is. And it's quite funny, like it's quite a strange thing. But like Jesus says, this world is not your home. You don't belong here. This continuum is something that's under his command now. It's under his control. He's the head of the atonement, whether you want to accept that from me or not. I mean, you can ask him yourself. He'll tell you exactly the same thing. Right? And this continuum is being wound up for a close, like the curtains are being drawn, and then you will see me no more. But don't be concerned about that. Simply make your way to the lifeboats, accept forgiveness, accept atonement for yourself now, and begin that process of releasing your mind from the perpetual cause and effect relationships of serving the world, which will always present you with another thing to serve, another thing to solve, another thing to fix, another thing to be concerned about. And simply realize, hang on a minute, if this world's not my home, what do I give a shit? What do I care about all this stuff? Let me find the truth of myself, and then I can begin to offer that to everyone that was like me, concerned about why the world is the way it is. You're never going to fix the problems of the world, never. The world is old and tired and without hope. Look out there into the celestial universe and you'll see planets, majority of them dead, dying, devoid of life, and this one is headed the same way. It cannot not, because the nature of time and space is rooted in beginnings and endings, from little tiny life forms to enormous great solar systems, universes, galaxies. Once you realize that, once you look out there and go, oh, I see what this is about, beginnings and endings, and it's like your time becomes more valuable. What am I going to use my time for then if I can't avoid the ending? And you can't. Even if you reach enlightenment in this lifetime, you can't avoid the ending. At some point, the body gets laid aside anyway, and all of this just goes into a brilliant, bright, white light or golden light. You find yourself back in the bardo, picking out a new avatar for a new, a new experience in the third dimension. I feel like there should be a commercial for it, like what was that movie where he goes to Mars, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall. and they're promoting the benefits of having a mental holiday, like in Mars. You're not really going to Mars, but in your mind they're implanting memories, which is exactly what this is, of experiencing yourself separate from where you find yourself, as if you're actually in Mars. And they promote it in a way, like, come to the red planet, all your dreams will come true, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what this is. We all went down to the celestial travel agent, picked up the brochures, and 12th, 7th, 5th dimension, 3rd dimension. This one looks interesting. And I don't know what any of this stuff is. Murder, death, disease, love, hope, winning the lottery. I'll take the lot. I'll take the lot. And you punch your card and off you go, and boop, you wake up as a baby here, and you begin the adventure, and it's just like shit. But you have a mind wipe. You don't remember being in the travel agent. And then there's the insurance waiver, like, in case of dissatisfaction of this experience, please contact Jesus. And he'll tell you to breathe, take a moment, reconnect, and start to rebuild that divine relationship within yourself that is eventually transfers and reflects to all things. All things are holy, all is one. There is only one love. Just like Bob Marley says, one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. That's all there is to it. I love you. Breathe. Let it all go.